So, hello fellow coin collectors, how you going? Today is Medieval Day, or Medieval, whatever you want to call it. So for that, I have some Venetian coins, and there's a Venetian Tornesellis, and these coins were issued for Greece only, or the Venetian colonies in Greece, but because during the late 1300s, early 1400s, the Venetian Torneselli sort of ceased to be minted in Greece. This coin actually replaced it and became the most common coin at the time. So the initial weight of this coin was actually supposed to be 0.75 of a gram, so not precisely 1 gram, and it was valued at about 320 coins to the Venetian mark, and the Venetian mark was 238.5 grams. So if you divide 238.5 divided by 320 gives you 0.75. But these coins are never really found at that weight. So in 1368 they were about 0.65 grams. In 1386 they were about 0.69 grams, and after 1386 they were 0.6 grams. And these coins are called a bullion coins, so they're actually low value silver in them, and the actual quantity of silver in these coins is only 11%, but the range is really about 8 to 14%. So at the start there was a really no quantity of silver that was standard in the coins, but the average is 11%. And the actual value of this coin was about 3 piccoli, which the Venetian coinage system was pretty similar to the UK coinage system. So it's 1 lira equals 20 soldi equals 240 piccoli, and this one is worth 3 piccoli, or 1/4 of a soldi. So it's pretty much equivalent to 3 pence in the old currency system, and it really had a silver value that was only half of that, so only about 1.5 piccoli, or 1.5 pence of silver value. So actually, instead of 4 of these equaling a soldi, and the soldi was actually 95% silver but only half a gram, it actually would have been valued about 8 of these to 1 soldi. So the soldi coin had about 4.5 grams of silver. This one only had about 0.5, about 0.7 of a gram. So this was only about 20% of the soldi's value. And I have read an article down below, and it's really interesting about these coins because it's just fascinating, and I learnt so much about it. So on this side we have a cross, and on this side should also be the name of the Doge. Now the Doge is like a magistrate in Venice, and he was elected for life. So there should be a cross up the top. So like somewhere around there. Is that a cross? Don't know. Maybe I'll check one of the other coins. Okay, so yeah, up the top is a cross, and starting. So sorry, I had to get a pen. So starting here is actually the name of the Doge. So it should be his part of his first name, part of his last name, and at the end has DUX. So if we have a look at this, looks like it starts with an M. And there's actually quite a few Dodge. So this might be Berenia Falia, 1354, 1355. Could be a Marco Connor, 1365, 1368. There's quite a few others that start with him as well. So because this is in poor grade, it actually is pretty hard to work out who is on it. So on the other side, we have the Venetian lion with wings. So these sticking up here are actually the wings. The lion's head is there, and this is his body. And around we have another inscription. And the lion is called the St. Marcus lion with gospel, because he usually has a book. So here's the actual book here, you can see it quite well. And around the side has Vexilifer Venezia. And that just means standard bearer of Venice. So the Dolce is the standard bearer of Venice. And these actually lost their value quite slowly over the 100-year period. So the output of these coins was about between 1 and 5 million per year. That's according to the reference I'll leave down below. And its value to the ducat in 1359, so the ducat was 3.5 grams of gold. It was in 1359 about 264 of these coins per ducat. In 1424, when they actually stopped minting these coins up until 1462, so about 40 years, because there was just so many of them. So at that time it was only 520, so it actually doubled in value, in terms of ducats, or decreased by half. And in 1466 it actually decreased to 792. And the reason for this was because of the high number that were actually minted. When you flood the market with a coin, it actually devalues it, even if it's silver. So if you read about coins over different time periods, sometimes when there is a reduction in the silver coin in circulation, it becomes more valuable. And when there is an increase in silver, or even gold for that matter, it actually decreases the value. So gold and silver, despite what people think, if there's more of it, it decreases in its actual value. If there's less, it increases, just like any commodity. And it doesn't actually retain the same value over the whole time period. So what could these actually buy you at the time? Well, for 2 of these coins, you could actually buy a 340 gram loaf of bread, or that's in 1366, and in 1370, because grain prices actually decreased, you could actually buy like a 400 gram loaf of bread, and that is actually pretty much the same size as a loaf of bread now. Well, probably about half the size actually of a loaf of bread now. A loaf of bread now is usually about 700-800 grams. So that is what these could actually buy you. For the wages, for workmen in 1402 constructing the Corfu fortress, they actually got paid about 16 to 20 Torneselli a day. To repair a ford in Negroponte was about 48 Torneselli a day. That's for a mason, and for a labourer is about 24 to 32 Torneselli a day. So they actually got paid quite a lot of these coins. So they really were not probably equivalent to the UK penny. For a seaman in 1422, they got paid about 1,280 Torneselli a month. So that's about 300, roughly 320 Torneselli a week. So that's quite a lot of these coins. So there's been like a few hordes of these, of a few thousand coins found, so that would have been someone's wages most likely. For an oarsman, they got paid 1,200 Torneselli a month, and for the defense of Modon, they got 40 Torneselli per day, so 40 of these coins, and that is what these coins could have brought you and what people got paid in them. So on this side we actually have a better image of the lion. Let's see, which way is it? Actually, oh, so let's get here. So here are the wings. So there's the lion. So here are the wings. There's his head, the two eyes there. Obviously this has been damaged there. And looks like he's got the book there. Or maybe that is a book there that he's holding in his hand. It's actually a bit hard. And here's the inscription. So Vexili, yeah, Venezia is actually off the inscription. How about on the other side? The other side's actually quite eroded. So I'm probably never going to actually be able to identify these for certain because of the condition of the coin. And as you can see from the flan, in the earlier years they were actually a lot better. The flans and the minting was a lot better, so this is probably actually a earlier coin, and it's probably been flattened through wear most likely, and it has these borders up here so to avoid clipping, but quite honestly, as you can see, a lot of the image is actually off the flan. Okay, so here's a cross up there. That's the cross I'm talking about. That separates the end of this, so DVX, DUX, and his name should actually start there, but obviously most of it's illegible, so really I'm not going to identify this coin. But because it's a good flan, it's more likely that it's actually one of the earlier issues, say before the 1400s. And how many different duce were actually issuing these coins? So there's about 12 different duce, or dodge, or whatever you want to call them, and that's only between 1453 when they were first issued, and 1353 should I say, and 1471. And obviously these coins were minted up until 1505, but after 1471 they actually become rare. And between 1423 and 1462 they're actually not that common because there was very few minted in that time period. So anyway, I hope that you enjoy this video and I hope you learned something. I'll leave a link below to the actual information where I got this from, and subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and just enjoy coin collecting because coin collecting is awesome. Thank you very much and have an awesome coin collecting time, people. Bye bye.